How much income can he expect? And how can he still retain the flat? Suppose he lives for 15 years.
If it's a crore, he can expect.
No, I can't see.
21,000.
Okay, for 1 crore.
You're giving a rule of thumb, yeah.
Right.
You need to check this out, but it will be roughly that.
Just 21,000 is what
every
he gets.
month. Every
and
month.
Then at the end, suppose he lives for 10 years. Then what happens at the end of it? Can the heirs have some scope for getting that flat?
They have to pay the bank and release the property.
So pay whatever has been paid plus interest, or just pay?
Plus interest.
Okay.
But by that time the property, see, all of these issues have not been fully addressed and dealt with. If there can be a death on the first option in which the entire property goes away. So as I am saying, that the reason why we do not suggest, and my first option, my first suggestion to somebody like this would be to sell and move to.
The market value is 1 crore. When the payment is made on 1 crore, or for much lesser?
They will calculate. They will keep a margin of 40 lakhs. They will giving you a loan of 60 lakhs. That 60 lakh is given to the insurance company. Insurance company says, okay, I now have to release annuity against a 60 lakh payment.
So to 60, 40 lakhs
It remains with the technically in the house. Yeah.
So in the earlier version there was some higher limit also. Beyond that they will not give. Even if they have it for property of 10 crore, 15 crore.
That option is there with all the banks. The 17 banks, if you go to the website, they give reverse mortgage. So that is still live, but it's useless according to me. This itself, there are so many issues.
Property prices always appreciate. So even this option will get more money.
I guess nobody has tested this. You better to go to the bank and renegotiate and revalue whether the bank will be open to it, tear up the old agreement, give a new agreement. These are all issues. Unless many of these issues get sorted out and debated and discussed, we don't advocate any, which is the main reason why we were against NSEs, e-silver and e-gold. We didn't know there was a scam with NSE. Nobody knew. But the reason why, having fully discussed e-gold and e-silver, I said no. At the end I said the big risk is a regulatory risk. Because our question was, who regulates NSE? If NSEL, if for some reason you want to redeem and it's on in electronic form, the silver or the gold is in some vault somewhere. If you want to redeem and you don't get it, who do you complain to? There was no answer to that. It was under the, no, it is not under SEBI, it is by an order of the Ministry of Agriculture, whatever, Consumer Affairs and Agriculture, one of those two ministries, that they started the exchange. Now who's going to go and complain to Ministry of Consumer Affairs? Nobody's there. There's no organized system of taking your grievances. It's only on that one point we said, do not go for e-gold or e-silver. In any case, we would now add to it by saying let others invest, let others figure out all the issues, let there be complaints, let there be resolution, then we will see whether the product is stable and it's worth buying or not.
Demonstration of how much is enough by going by website, how much is enough can be seen in the website. No, you said calculation.
How much is?
How much is enough post retirement?
Go to that URL, savers.moneylife.in/cal. This is it. Yeah. So there are 5 retirement calculators. They're all very easy to figure out. Will my money last, for instance? Retirement purpose. So it's very, very simple. Put how much of money you would have when you retire, the expected return, expenses, inflation. You will get a figure over here. They're all very simple.
Yeah, but that it was a little confusing how to arrive at the expenses expected.
That's very easy here. One second. Yeah. So I've given a list of possible expenses. Okay, just fill it up, and if I've missed out anything, just add to others, and you'll get a figure. So if this is your planned expenses and put in your expected inflation, current age, plan to retire, you will get a figure which will automatically calculate for you.
Your current age is your retired age.
Yeah. Then also it will work. Yes, please.
When one retires, one gets a corpus. Now, would you recommend that that entire corpus be divided as per your suggestion, or should one put it in a liquid fund and start SIPs on that? Wouldn't that be a better option? Or do you just put the lump sum into equity and let it go that way? Because everyone is hard selling SIPs, and there is an advantage to SIPs. But what would be the better option for a retiree who gets a lump sum corpus to invest?
To recap, first of all, you have to segregate the amount that you do not need for 5 years from the money that you may need. Put only that part of the money to grow. The rest of the money has to be fairly safe. That money, according to me, if you keep at least, you should have 5 years is minimum, but there are chances that in 5 years also there could be a scope for, there are about 11% chance of a capital not growing in 5 years. So I would say take 10 years. You retire at 60, till 70 you will not need that money. If you were to do a SIP from there, or rather a systematic transfer plan or whatever it's called, please make sure you do that, finish that process quickly. Meaning, if you have 30 lakhs and you do a SIP of 5,000 rupees a month, it will take a long time for that money to fully get invested. And by the time it will get invested, your 10 years is over. So you're not going to get too much out of it. Some amount of, in the issue that is currently on the stands, we have given some idea of when is the market high or when is the market not high. And it's very easy for anybody to calculate that. According to me, if you do a systematic transfer plan between 15 to 18 months or max between 2 years, make sure that your entire 30 lakhs has gone in. If you are not doing and if you are lucky to have retired in 2008 October, put the entire money, not only 30 lakhs, entire money in equity mutual funds, because every 5 years, 7 years there is an opportunity when, due to the madness of people who regularly invest, including smart institutional investors, stocks become incredibly cheap, and that's the time to sort of take risk even more. But most of the time, the almost 60 to 70% of the time, the market is either mildly undervalued or undervalued. It's only like now, if the market moves up another 15%, it will become overvalued. And this is a rule of thumb which works very well. There is just no need to get, for a moment, don't think that I am trying to time the market in the traditional sense of the term. I am not talking about what is a peak and what is the bottom. I am talking of rough zones of where it gets overvalued, and that approximation is enough to earn a 12% return that I am talking about. You don't have to be precise. Nobody is precise. As Warren Buffett said, even an IQ of 80 is good enough to earn money in the stock market. 80. Any other questions? Yes.
So one thing, we have touched only the financial aspect of retirement, because in retirement I find few other things are very important, which I have read in some books.
You are far from retiring, no?
Yeah, that's true. But being into this, I came to know that is only the financial aspect is one part of that. There is something like social, something called person has some hobby to do. They should have a relation. these things are more valuable as compared to the financial
I
aspect.
agree with you.
So these
My
aspects,
session was not about all of that, unfortunately. But I agree with you.
because these things are even
I am a believer in joint family, for instance, although I don't have one.
By Indians.
Because Indians don't donate. We are notorious. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So, coming back to reverse mortgage,
Okay.
Given the crime against senior citizen,
Yes.
rather than having an emotional attachment of living in your own house, I feel it's better to sell the property and live in a gated community where you are much more safer.
Excellent. I agree.
My question was similar, because instead of only equity mutual fund, if we second house and put it on the rent, so the rent will take at least part compensation of your EMI. So suppose house of 30 lakhs and if it is on rent, you are say paying 60 lakh in the interest, but at least the interest component will get cancelled because of the rent that you are getting. And then actually when the cost goes up, it's much more than 12% per annum.
What is more than 12% per annum? What
The
is
real estate, when
how
it
do you know?
appreciates.
I was
when
going
you
to
put
answer
it
the
on
question
rent,
later, but I have come up with the answer right now in the form of a question. How do you know?
When you put it on rent, not otherwise, but if you put it on rent,
My question is, how do you know that the real estate is going to, that the one that you bought is, in your particular case, is going to appreciate at 12% per annum over the long term? How do you know? What is the basis for this number? There is everything that I talked about can be justified. The reason I don't mention real estate is that there is no data. There is no data anywhere to be able to stand here and address to 50 people confidently saying that I know that real estate prices go up at 12% per annum. It doesn't, according to me. But even I don't, it's my guess.
in your case, the rental yield is much less than the bank deposits. That is not calculated, because the rental yield of 1 crore you get 5 lakhs extra, that is much less than.
You don't get 5 lakhs. In Bandra, a 10 crore property yields a rent of 2 lakh rupees. It's 2% or less. Thank you.